Hola familia, bienvenidos a un nuevo episodio del show. Yo soy tu host Natasha Melina y hoy estamos aquí con nadie más que nadie menos que Calacote. Aquí está. We are so excited to have you here to be talking to you once again. La última vez que hablamos fue en agosto, cuando recién estaba saliendo, sacaste tu primer tema, Zapata, y ahora estamos aquí de nuevo. ¿Cómo te sientes?
Súper bien, súper contento, gracias por tenerme. Como tú dijiste, acabamos de sacar este sencillo. Estoy súper, o sea, súper feliz por haber colaborado con Akapellah, con Jessy Terrero. El tema me encanta. Yo creo que la mejor canción, el mejor video en mi canal de YouTube ahora mismo.
Wow.
Nada, estoy súper, súper happy.
Oh, entonces ya sé el canción favorito de nuevo. Esta canción que se llama Intercambio, para los que no saben, también tiene otro nombre, pero I'm gonna let you pronounce it so I don't butcher it.
Sí,
Dímelo otra vez.
Intercambio, Botalebu.
Okay, listo. I'm not even gonna try to say it because I don't want to ruin it. But like, oh my God, tremenda tema. Es como dijiste ya, es junto a Acapellah. Jessy Terrero también hizo su debut musical, que es bien especial. Vamos a hablar un poquito de eso más
Sí.
adelante. Pero, ¿cómo llegó a ser este tema? Vamos a hablar un poquito de eso.
Sí, no, nosotros, Acapellah y yo grabamos el tema el año pasado, en enero del año pasado, y cuando lo terminamos, entra Jessy Terrero al estudio para saludar a Mafio. Y Mafio dijo, coño, voy a parar la pista ahí para que tú digas algo. Y ahí tiró esa, ¿qué pasó? ¿Se acabó ya? Y nada, Jessy salió en el tema, salió en el video y para mí, o sea, tener un tema con Akapellah, eso para mí es un honor, o sea, incomparable. Tener un tema con Akapellah y Jessy Terrero y que Jessy Terrero salga en el tema y todo, eh, otro nivel, otro nivel. So, estoy súper, súper happy.
Es algo bien increíble. Jessy Terrero es un director bien famoso para los que no saben. Y ahora otra vez tengo que decirle, él hizo su debut musical en tu canción. Es algo bien especial. Es un honor. And also, it's really special because you threw in some cool French verses and everything con tremendo flow. No sé lo que estaba diciendo, but I know that you were killing it. Can we get a little translation?
Sí, es que la gente, yo quiero que la gente aprecie el palabreo francés que puse en esa canción, pero que hasta los franceses, porque, ok, yo digo en la canción, esa venezolana, esa venezolana, o sea, esa venezolana está enamorada de mí. Je sais pas mon partout, comme si j'étais un carrefour. So, yo dije, Bon Maman es una marca de mermelada, mermelada francesa, pero se traduce a mamá buena. So, yo dije, yo tengo esa mamá buena en todas partes, como si yo fuera un Carrefour, el supermercado.
Oh my
Pero
God.
sí,
Okay.
esa es la barrita ahí.
Bueno, no solo estamos haciendo entrevistas, también estamos tomando lecciones de francés. Wow, thank
Así,
you for that little
normal.
translation. Mira, ya lo estoy apreciando más y más. No sabía lo que estaba diciendo, pero como ya traduciste y todo, I knew it was fire and it is. You proved it to be true.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Y
so much.
claro, hablemos un poquito sobre este video musical, porque como todos los que ha sacado, es como una mini película que da como una tremenda historia. So let's talk a little bit about it.
Sí, bueno, este es el segundo video que hice con Joshua Burgo, el final, un director boricua, él fue que hizo Bruja también. No, el video me encanta, nosotros rentamos un bar aquí en Miami por un día entero para filmarlo y nada, fue un show bien largo, o sea, empezamos a eso de las 5 de las 6 de la mañana y creo que terminamos eso de las 11 de la noche, algo así, pero fue súper, o sea, yo creo que el video se quedó durísimo, pero
Sí.
durísimo. So, a mí, nada, como dije, mi video favorito que tengo en mi canal, eh, nada, a mí me encanta, yo creo que cuando nosotros sacamos Bruja, fue como un paso mucho más adelante que Azafata. Y con Intercambio es así. O sea, un paso mucho más adelante que Bruja. So,
Sí.
sí, creo que creo que esta canción y el video se quedan perfectamente como mi tercer sencillo. ¿Me entiendes? Que ya tenemos a Azafata en la calle. Hicimos eso. Ya la gente conozca a Azafata, la gente entiende a Azafata. Tenemos Bruja en la calle, la gente entiende Bruja, la gente conozca a Bruja y ya intercambio. Y con cada canción y con cada video siempre mejorando.
Sí, eso te iba a decir también, que con cada canción estamos como viendo más de Calacote, estamos escuchando más de tu sonido, you're showing us the different side to you. Como me dijiste en la última entrevista, vas a sacar como más música con diferentes sonidos, con debo, un poco de urbano, vas a mezclar tu francés ahí, and that's exactly what you're doing, so we love to see that. I mean, de Azafata a Bruja, ahora con Intercambio, I mean, there's such different songs and they're each so special in their own way. So what's been like the biggest difference in creating each of them?
I think, you know, it's funny, we made everything that's out now, we made it at the same time, pretty much. Like within a couple of weeks. It was all last January. So it's funny because, you know, it looks like there's you know, with each song, there's like this evolution that's happening. But in reality, like all of that was made at the same time. So I think all of this first project, everything that we're going to be putting out right now, represents that time for me musically, you know what I mean, and where I was artistically. So it's funny again because, like, you know, people, a lot of times people don't understand how the timing of this kind of stuff works, but yeah, it was all made around the same time. Everything, the next song that we're going to come out with, which is going to be very different than everything that we've come out with so far, was made at the same time. So it's like a timestamp into when Mafia and I first met. We made all this music together that's coming out. So that's obviously, so I feel an evolution as an artist putting out this music, you know what I mean? And you know, the visuals like add so much to that. Mm-hmm. But the next step in my artistic evolution, I think, is going to be seen in a while from now, when the next batch of music is released. But I'm very happy with the reception for Intercambio. The people have gotten from it what I hoped, you know.
Tell us a little bit more about that. What's been the feedback from the people?
It's been super, you know, when Azafata came out, there was very little organic feedback at first. You know what I mean? It was my first song, like, you know, obviously it did very well, but it wasn't as though, you know, people were tweeting about Calacote all the time. And with Bruja, we saw a huge jump in that. You know what I mean? It was, people were commentating on the video, and people were receiving the video and the song in a way that they weren't doing initially with Azafata. All very positive for the most part. With Intercambio, it's been as radical of a difference as Bruja and Azafata was, to where there's online, there's such a collection of people that gave feedback, you know what I mean? And again, almost all of it's positive, which is awesome. Actually, way more of it's positive than I'm very hard on myself in general. I'm very like self-conscious about my music and very like, you know, I'm an artist, like, and I love music and I care about music a lot. So it's like, it's hard for me to look at myself like without looking at myself through like the most critical lens.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because I always expect a lot more negative feedback than I've gotten so far. So when the real negative feedback comes, I'll be prepared for it, because that's what
no, we're not manifesting negative feedback. We're not going to get negative feedback. I'm sorry to be biased, but like, your music is so dope. We haven't had an artist like you ever, I feel. You're mixing in the different cultures, you're mixing in the different sounds and everything. But as a creative, I understand it's so hard to be able to like appreciate your own thing. You're always going to be very critical of yourself. I mean, I'm the same way, and so many other people can relate, I'm sure too. But what you're doing is just so amazing and so cool. Like, we really love it.
So much. Thank you so much.
Had to let you know that, of course. Yeah. So, okay, let's talk a little bit more about Bruja. We already talked about it a little bit, but the last time we did speak, no estaba en las calles todavía. So I want to know a little bit more about the behind the scenes of what went into that.
Yeah, Bruja was, you know, it's like I said, there was such a dramatic difference between releasing Bruja and releasing Azafata. It was like Azafata, the difference was so much that it was like Bruja felt like we were like releasing a big song. Azafata was kind of like a test run almost. But you know, working with Kiko's like he's an icon right now, you know, in the movement. He's one of the faces of the Dominican movement. So for me, it was such an honor that he was on the song, supported the song. You know what I mean? Uh, but yeah, it was cool because it was the first time. It's funny. I was just having a conversation about this with somebody at the label. The Weirdly enough, for me, weirdly enough, again, as like a critic of my own work, people to this day, Azafata is still like for some people their favorite song that I've released. And I think that has to just be based on genre. I think the only reason that Azafata is your favorite song out of Bruja de Intercambio Azafata is because, you know, the Dimbo sound you just don't like very much. But I think Bruja, it was cool for me because that was like Bruja and Intercambio represent super well the sound that I think Mafia and I have found and the sound that we want to continue. Um, so uh, yeah, it was just cool. It was cool to be able to release it. It was cool to be able to, you know, it was the first time that I released a song on, you know, after having signed and releasing music professionally, that I had a feature, and, you know, it was a feature that's huge. And again, that's somebody that's a face of the movement. So um, I was super happy with Bruja, how everything turned out. But you know, I've been Intercambio just in a couple days. Um, has more like views than Bruja, has more like so it's exciting to watch everything grow, you know, step by step.
Yeah, it's exciting to see all the songs growing on their own way and then to see you grow as an artist as well. I mean, I'm right with you. I feel like Intercambio has become like a fan favorite and one of my favorites now too. I mean, again, the fact that you bring in the French and art, I mean, I wish I could sing along to that part because it's just so dope. Like the flow is so different. It might be a genre thing too for other people, but
Yeah.
I know that the people are already loving this one, like you said. It's already surpassed the views of the other videos in such a short amount of time. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's wild to see. I'm going to take a quick moment also to congratulate you for signing with Universal Music Publishing Group. I had to mention that really quick, highlight that because that's something really new and really cool too. That's just a few months after you've been out as an artist.
Yeah, no, it's a dream. I'm really excited to work with Universal. Obviously, you know, I will continue to work in like urban music, but I think where they're gonna be so fun to work with is their ability to pull in artists from different genres. You know what I mean, from different parts of the world that maybe aren't familiar with. Aren't familiar with my genre at all. You know what I mean, and uh, I'm excited to work with them to kind of form those relationships that within like El Género, like I wouldn't have the ability to form necessarily. And they're
Yeah.
great. The Universal team, like everybody over there, Alex and Ana Rosa, like super, super cool people, super good people. So I'm really excited to, you know, obviously we're like beginning this relationship. I'm really excited to
Mhm.
watch it kind of come into fruition.
We're so excited for you. I mean, you already gave us some killer collabs, but like you're saying, to be able to loop in collaborations with people from other countries and different cultures and have like those other different sounds incorporated, that's gonna be something so cool to like hear and watch, honestly.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah, that's the goal. We'll you know, hopefully have some pretty interesting collabs come out of it.
Mhm. And you mentioned that all the music that's coming out now fue grabado el enero pasado, ¿verdad? So are you also, we're in January again, it's a whole year later. ¿Estás grabando más música ahorita or no?
Sí, bueno, voy a estar trabajando
Okay.
ahorita, si Dios quiere,
Okay.
pero hasta ahora yo creo que me ha tocado esperar que, o sea, que salga un par de temas para que pueda volver a trabajar, pero estoy
Got it.
loco por seguir creando, que tengo en la mente 3 discos
Uh-huh.
real. O sea, estoy loco por poder volver al estudio.
Sí, porque como artista ya mencionaste que siempre estás evolucionando y cambiando y todo eso. Así que
Sí.
estoy interesada en saber, how do you think you're different now as an artist than you were last January?
Totally different. Not even. I feel like a different person. I think, artistically, I'm a different person. I think uh, well, the way that music interests me. You know what I mean. The way that I want to tackle music is different than it's ever been right now. And next year it'll be different than it is now. You know. So, but yeah, I mean, you're just getting into the genre and getting into the industry and being a part of it, like you learn so much so quickly. You know, you observe so much, and it really evolves your way of thinking musically. You know, and I feel like I've become such a better student of music in the last year, and I'm excited to put that onto tracks. There's also a lot of, you know, everything that I've released so far, everything that we're going to be releasing in the next couple months. It's very fun. It's very funny. It's very, you know, but I want to be able to kind of speak more personally in the future, and I didn't take the opportunity to do that in this first batch of music. So I'm excited to do that more, and uh, you know, to I am learning how to be myself in music, and that's the biggest, I think, difference between now and last year, is that I didn't know how to do that when I was in the local scene, and when I was, like, you know, grabbing music myself. um, I didn't understand how to speak in my songs, and now I think I do a lot better. So I'm excited for that to come out.
We're excited for that. And I imagine that must be really scary to make the songs a little bit more personable to you and put like more of yourself into it, because then it's like the feedback is really gonna mean
Of
that much
course, yeah, because
more.
it's different. I mean, like when you're saying like "Yo tengo una bruja," it's like, you know,
But
yeah,
I know that all the music you're putting out is super fire. I mean, you have an amazing team. You're an incredible artist yourself. So we're so excited to hear that and to hear more of you, and to get to hear you be more personable in your music. That's something super exciting too. So
yeah,
we're super
very
excited for
much.
that.
Appreciate it.
So Calacote, ahorita te voy a dar el piso para que le digas algo a tus fanáticos, say whatever you want.
Dale, los amo. Gracias por la plataforma. Siempre, nada, les invito a escuchar mi nuevo tema, Intercambio, con Akapellah y con Jessy Terrero, y que me siguen en todas las plataformas porque estoy activado.